Good morning. Today we are starting Module 6, and this is Lesson 1. The objective for Lesson 1 is to construct a coordinate system on a line. So the first thing we need to look at are some examples of number lines. And I'm going to zoom out far enough here so that you can see. These are all examples of number lines. And the first thing you should notice is that they are all drawn in different directions. They all start in different places. So here, this one's even crooked. And we're starting at the top with 0 and we're counting by tens. On this one, we're starting on the left with 0 and we're counting by twos. On the bottom, we are starting on the right with 0 and we're counting by 1/4 all the way to 2 1/4. And on the last one, we are starting with 0 on the bottom and we're going up counting by 5/10. So 5/10 1, 1 and 5/10 2, 2 and 5/10 3. So the purpose of this is just so that you can see that number lines can be drawn all kinds of different ways. The next thing we have is our activity for today. So, our job is to use our tag board and cut it in any length over 1/2 inch. I have already done that for you. This is our piece of tag board that we're going to be using today for this activity. We're going to place our tag board on our number line and put marks at the beginning and end of our tag board. So I'm going to start up in this top corner of my number line, and you can see the arrow. So I'm going to put a hash mark at the beginning and end of my little tag board piece. Beginning and end. Beginning and end. Beginning and end, all the way to the end of this number line. And that's where we're going to stop. So there you can see all of my little hash marks, and I can make some of them darker. The next thing we need to do is right here, direction number 3 says, label your origin. Origin is a very important word for this module. Origin means the number 0. So for this one, we're going to start in the top left corner, and my origin is going to be there. Now, I'm going to label the rest with whole numbers starting at number 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is our last whole number. The next thing we're going to do is take our little tag board, the one we use to make our hash marks, and we are going to split this into a fraction. So I'm going to lay it on a lined piece of paper, and if I want my fraction to be 1/2, I'm going to tilt it so that it's touching 2 lines. So here you can see I would put a mark right there in the middle, and that would be 1/2. If I wanted thirds, I would tilt it some more over 3 lines. And there would be thirds. If I wanted fourths, I could tilt it over 4 lines, and I would have fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm going to stick with halves. So I'm using 2 lines. Here's 1, 2, and right there where that line touches my tag board, in the middle, I'm going to put a hash mark. I'm going to put it closer so you can see there's a little hash mark in the middle of my tag board. I will make it a little bigger and darker. And the next thing I'm going to do is separate my number line into halves. So our number line, we have our whole numbers, and then we split them all into halves. Now that we have constructed a line with our numbers here, we're going to look at some other lines. this is number line 1. And the important word we talked about was our origin. And origin is the number 0. I'm trying to zoom in here. There we go. So our 0 here is on the left, and we are counting by whole numbers to the right. And we are split in halves on this number line. So the first thing we need to do is find the value of the square. And the square falls at 1/2. So it is a half away from our origin, over here the 0. The next one we'll find is the circle. And the circle is at 2.5. So the distance from the origin is 2.5. Next we have a star, and the star is at 5. So the distance from the star to the origin is 5. All right, here is number line 2. And if you look, it's completely opposite of the first one. The top one was going from left to right. Now we're going from right to left. Again, we're counting by whole numbers. There are no halves this time. So the first shape we need to find the value of is the heart, which is at 3. And that is 3 away from the origin. So the distance from the heart to the origin is 3. The triangle is at 8. So the distance from the triangle to the origin is 8. And our last number line here at the bottom, this is broken up a little bit differently. So again, we're going from right to left, like number line 2. And we are counting by whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, each whole is split into thirds, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So we need to find the value or distance from the origin of the circle. So we're counting from right to left, and we're moving. Here's 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. This is 3 1/3. So the distance from the circle is 3 2/3 from the origin. Please don't forget to do your exit ticket.